Hey, hello, and welcome. Hopefully you checked out part 1 and part 2 of the table build. I'm super excited to show you some glamour professional shots and a few other little keynotes. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, thank you so much for the likes and the comments and the shares. I absolutely appreciate it. All right, let's get going.
Hello, check it out. This is a magnetic key. It's leaf shaped and it will release a pin. And now I need to turn or rotate a dial underneath, and I'll show you that more here in a bit. You can hear that unlock, and it releases all 3 drawers simultaneously. And now I can rotate that dial back. You can hear it lock. Remove the magnet or the key, the pin drops back down, and boom, we're locked. All right, crawl underneath the table with me. So under here, there's another pin. You can hear that unlock. Pin goes in place here. And yeah, it snaps into place with a magnet. It's almost too strong. That's okay, it works great. The brass excussion I turned on my lathe, and that'll keep things from wearing too quickly. Without this brass pin, the drawers would have enough leverage to turn that dial. But once that brass pin's in place, it's not going anywhere. Excuse the portrait format here, and I decided to put instructions on the bottom. Just, well, who knows? One of these days, the table won't belong to us. All of this engraving was created with a Shaper origin. I added my website, my logo, my signature, and ultimately the finished date of construction completion. And underneath you can see the little access hole to open the drawers. Directly behind each leg within the torsion box is a magnet to hold the key. Amongst many other mistakes, screw-ups, prototypes, and renditions, this was my first attempt at a key. It was a bit too weak, so I made a stronger one with a bigger magnet. Initially, the idea for this table was ambiguous and just not entirely clear to me. The overall shape and size were really the only parameters that I knew. One thing for sure that I did know is that I wanted marquetry on it, somewhere to tie in with the chairs, but I wasn't sure where or how. Marquetry in the middle made sense, but how could I achieve that? The marquetry wasn't the problem, but creating the motif in the middle of such a large area was out of my realm of experience. I also knew that I wanted drawers, but regular drawers with drawer guides? Nah. Okay, how about a pivoting drawer? I love the idea, but a large drawer on a short vertical axle? Yikes. Way too much leverage. This would take tons of thought and engineering, but the outcome proved to be a fantastic solution. More on that in a bit.
All right, there we go. So we've got some purple heart legs that started out as maple, right? And I chose each end. I looked at each end and tried to find any grain that was curved so I could use it at the bottom here. See that? Curved, kind of follows that shape of the leg.
I began creating the pivoting drawers because I knew the physical aspects of those. The part that was going to pivot and how that would work at this point was a little unclear. Note the wing or the integral part of the drawer side. This will help carry the weight of the drawer. After several failed attempts at drilling consistently a plumb hole through a scrap block of wood, I discovered that the drill bit would, of course, follow the path of least resistance. I intentionally created a small void, and I utilized that to my advantage. And then I started thinking, what if I could disguise the drawers? It's my nature to make things more complicated, I think. But what a cool surprise that would be. Maybe I could use vertical grain, yeah? Yes, absolutely. So many successful situations thanks to veneer that you just simply could not pull off with solid wood. Virtually invisible and awesome. As a matter of fact, the starburst up on top, impossible to create successfully out of solid wood. Wood is dynamic and it's always moving, expanding, and contracting. One day I realized that if I could create the 24-section starburst, then prior to assembly, I could somehow cut another smaller Roylo shape out of the center area. I could now create the Marquetry branches and leaves, then marry it back to the background. It kind of worked. But now, the Marquetry background pieces, they no longer aligned with the main background wedges because of the bandsaw kerf used to cut them. Always challenges, right? Time to regroup, recut, adjust, and continue. This table was a fabulous project for me. I learned a ton. Each stage had me elated and excited, but then I'd hit another wall. It would awaken me at night, making me sweat. There were so many obstacles and tests, one challenge after another. This tested my skill and patience, but I had to persist and stay on course. One thing I thought about a lot early on was how would a big, heavy table span the distance between the legs and kind of heavy with drawers, yeah? Okay, how about a torsion box design? Yes, and that worked fantastically well. Initially, I had drawn the drawers with a pivot on the right, most likely because I was born left-handed, but I'm quite ambi now, but it made more sense to put the pivot on the left with the access on the right. And yeah, more magnets to pull it closed. You may be thinking why I chose to lock these drawers. Well, The table would need to be tilted sideways to enter a home or through a doorway, and a drawer flipping open would be disastrous. So how could I lock them? Preferably all at the same time. How to unlock? Of course, magnets. In the bottom of the drawers, I added a white marine vinyl. It looks like leather, but better. For 30 years, I've been writing DeYan's name everywhere. Well, no public restrooms. My lovely lady was thrilled to receive these. Such a thoughtful and incredible gift. Perfect timing, and how beautiful are those? Thank you tons, brother. All 6 chairs have a fall motif of different species on the crest rail or chair back. There are 2 in yellow, 2 in orange, and 2 in red. Marquetry is a huge passion of mine. It can be a painstaking, slow, but extremely rewarding process. Between the table and 6 chairs, there are nearly 800 separate pieces of wood to create these motifs. And for those of you that don't know, Purple Heart is naturally occurring. These table legs and chair legs are Purple Heart, that is natural in color. However, the Marquetry, that is dyed veneer. The chairs were the first time I've used dyed veneer, and I love the fact that it won't fade or migrate to a brown. DeYan's chair represents a plum tree. She has always loved those purple leaves. And mine depicts the Bodhi tree. This Bodhi tree was a sacred fig tree circa 500 BCE that allegedly Siddhartha Gautama, also known as the Buddha, he is believed to have attained enlightenment while sitting underneath this special tree. This also matches the tattoo on my right arm. I absolutely love stuff like that. So by now, you may have noticed my logo. For me, my leaves symbolize eternity, good and positive energy, representing the continuum of life. All right, want to see some pro shots? Now, all of these photos were taken by my buddy Paul McPherson with Shutterfreek. Check it out.